Imagine you're in a self-driving vehicle that is in between a motorcycle and a family. In front of your vehicle there's a truck hauling big logs, and one of the logs comes loose and falls in front of you. If your vehicle tries to brake, you'll still be hit by the log with a high chance of death. If you swerve right into the family vehicle, there's a 40% chance that each person in the vehicle will die. If the car swerves into the motorcycle, there's a 100% chance that the motorcyclist will die. Should the car sacrifice itself and its passengers to protect the other people, or should it swerve into the motorcyclist to minimize the amount of deaths? Maybe swerve into the family since they have a lower chance of dying? These are just some of the many factors that programmers and companies will need to take into consideration when creating self-driving vehicles. There'll be many debates, papers, and research articles created on what is ethical for a car to do in certain situations, and who should be responsible for accidents. The content of this vehicle will go over the two papers by Mark Ryan and Rob Loyler that talk about what an autonomous vehicle should do in different situations and who should be responsible. In Loyler's paper, he argues that there should be safe spaces that self-driving vehicles should never enter. Safe spaces include sidewalks, pedestrian crossings, traffic dividers, and more. One thing I think lawyers should have brought up when talking about safe spaces is if the car should factor in whether there is a human or not in the safe space. Because if a car can avoid an accident by invading a safe space with no one in it, I think it should be able to do that. He explains safe spaces more with an example. Imagine there are 5 friends waiting across the street. There's a car coming their way, and one friend correctly judges that they can make it to the divider. 3 friends instinctually follow the other friend, but won't make it in time to avoid the car. The last friend stays on the sidewalk. By following Loyler's rule of safe spaces, the car should stay on its path and hit the 3 friends. The 2 friends in the safe spaces could be said to have been safe and responsible, so they do not deserve to get swerved into, and that the 3 friends in the middle of the road are responsible for themselves being there. Another point that Loyler brought up is responsibility and if it should be factored in at all when programming self-driving vehicles. In the previous example, it could be said that the 3 friends in the road were irresponsible for being in the road and that the ones who were on the sides of the road were being safe and should not be punished for being responsible. However, Loyler brought up another point. What if the person that ran on the road was a child? Is the child responsible for itself, or is its parents responsible? Should self-driving cars avoid children, and will they be able to tell the difference in age of people? Loyler brought up many points against factoring in responsibility because it's just too hard to factor in. Also, is it really ethical for an artificial intelligence to try and calculate responsibility in someone? On the same topic of responsibility, who takes responsibility when a self-driving vehicle is responsible for a car accident? Should it be the driver or the company that created the vehicle? Ryan brings up that today, drivers are trying to shift the blame to companies. He thinks that at this point in time, it is responsibility of the driver for any accidents that the car causes. I agree with this for now. In the future, when companies get to level 5 autonomy with cars, it should not be the driver's fault for accidents. Because when they get to this level of autonomy, there will most likely not even be a steering wheel in the cars. So how would the driver be able to change anything that the car is doing? Should the driver be at fault if the car crashes then? I think not, since it's most likely going to be an error with the manufacturing or the program that caused the crash. However, until we get to this point, it should still be the fault of the driver.